This is Karen with My I'm Possible Dream, and I'm with Amy here at the Autism Speaks office, and this is going to be the first of many podcasts. Amy, thanks for joining me today, and we're going to talk about the upcoming walk and anything else you have to tell me about Autism Speaks today.
Great. Thanks, Karen. Thanks for coming by.
Sure.
Even in the rain. You can't see it, everybody, but it's a monsoon outside, so thank you for braving the weather.
Oh, absolutely. Anything for Autism Speaks. So you were just at a conference.
Yes, every year the National Office of Autism Speaks puts together a conference. So we had a volunteer leadership summit in Washington, D.C. So they really wanted to focus this year on advocacy for our conference. So we did it right there next to the White House, and we were able to go up to the Hill, to the Capitol, and meet with our congressmen and just tell them what's on our agenda for this year.
So what kind of response do you think we got?
I think it was amazing. We have two very important things happening right now on a federal level. We are trying to get two different things passed. So it was really important for us to be there in person, not only to meet the congressmen who put it out there and started the bills and to thank them, but then also to remind all of the senators and representatives of what's happening. So one is the 21st Century Cares Initiative, and another is it's Avante's Law. It's a safety and wandering issue. So both are out there right now, and we got a great response. Most either already knew about it or have signed on to support it. So we were there to thank them, but then for the few that either hadn't heard of it or it wasn't on their radar, we met with them and their staff to make sure they knew this was important, and we got a really positive response.
Very good. Now, I know we've been talking about the ABLE Act. Can you explain that a little bit so that anybody who's out there who says, what's that all about?
Yes, no, that's a great question, and it's really, really important for our families here in Ohio. So on a federal level, we passed the ABLE Act, which stands for Achieving Better Life Experience Act. So what was happening was our families and any families with children or young adults with disabilities couldn't save without penalty, like you would be able to save for a college tuition. So we have really been pushing along with the Down Syndrome Association to say, this isn't right. We need to change it. So President Obama signed it into law federally at the end of last year, but now every state has to implement it.
So okay. Another level.
Yes, so we passed it, so a lot of people are thinking, wait, we passed that. So I thought, everything was fine. Well, we passed it on the federal level, and now every state has to actually enact it and decide how the money is going to be distributed. So that's why we were also there in DC making sure everybody knew that was happening and that we were going to be working this on a state level. So now we're still working alongside Down Syndrome Association and the Disabilities Institute to make sure it happens on a state level so that our families can save without losing their Medicaid benefits or any other benefits that they may have, because there was a cap on that before. So that would, it takes out that cap, they won't get penalized. So we have been pushing to make sure that our state senators and representatives know about that, and it gets passed before the end of the year.
Well, I'm so glad that you explained that, because so many of us, keep saying, well, it's already been passed. Why are we, hounding our senators and our representatives, to pass it again? So now we all understand.
Yes, we just got to get it passed at the state level. We don't think there's going to be any problem with it. There hasn't been a lot of opposition, and of course they have to because it's been passed federally, but you might be seeing some emails or things popping up saying, hey guys, email or call your state representatives to make sure we get this passed.
So what other big initiatives can we expect from Autism Speaks in the next maybe year? Anything new coming up?
Well, the ever popular, it's not new, but it comes up every year, we're trying to pass autism insurance reform in Ohio. So currently, if you have an insurance based out of Ohio, you may not get all of your services covered through your insurance. So whether that's ABA therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, it probably is not covered if your insurance company is based out of Ohio. So we're really trying to get that passed. We've been trying for years, and we'll get it through the House or we'll get it through the Senate, and it'll get so far, and then we either run out of time or something happens. So we really hope again to pass that this year. a few years ago, the governor signed that state employees could get ABA services, and then also through Obamacare, they can get some services.
Sure.
So it's actually happened in the backwards way that usually we pass autism insurance reform, but since those things are in place, we're really hoping we can get full-blown autism insurance reform coverage for Ohio, because every other state around us has passed it, passed some form of it.
Okay.
Michigan passed it, I think 2 years ago now. Indiana passed it many, many, many years ago. Kentucky, again, passed it many, many years ago. So we just want to make sure that our families that are based here in Ohio are getting the same coverage that other states are getting.
And with 1 out of 68 being diagnosed, it really is important that it does get passed, because without these services, as children, they're left behind, and as they grow up to become adults, they're lacking certain skills, and we need to conquer it early on.
Well, and we've got families that are paying out of pocket for these expenses, which can be upwards of $50,000, $80,000 a year.
Right.
Or they're moving and they're leaving our state to be able to get services covered somewhere else. And we have so many great services here in Northeast Ohio through all the different service providers we have and the hospital systems we have. So it's really a shame if we're going to start losing families if we don't get the coverage.
Absolutely.
So while politics and legislation is not that either easy to understand or exciting to talk about, it really does affect our families on a direct level. So that's why we take it on as part of our mission.
Very, very good. So we have some exciting things coming up in the next 6.5 weeks.
Not that we're counting,
It's something that we look forward to every year, and it is our walk. So where do we stand right now?
Oh, goodness. We just had our committee meeting last night, and Karen was there with us along with our mighty crew. So we have our Cleveland Walk Now for Autism Speaks in 6.5 weeks on Sunday, August 23rd. We are back again at Progressive Field. We're happy to be back there, and it's going really well. Our committee works really hard throughout the year to put this on, and it's really a celebration. It's really for families to come out and feel like they are a part of us,
right.
and we want them to feel like they can come out and really celebrate their 1 in 68. So right now we are at around 90 or so thousand, or 60 or so $1,000 raised, and we're looking to hit 300,000. So we're still tracking to hit that, but we have a $300,000 goal. Usually we have anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 walkers come out, depending on the weather. So we're really excited and planning for a bunch of new teams to come out. And we have our resource fair, which is really, I would say, the staple and the thing that grounds the walk. It makes it a little different from other walks. We have service providers from around Northeast Ohio come out and share what they can do for our families. So whether it's therapy services, or if it's the summer camps, or horseback riding, or somebody who is on the spectrum and sells books and they've made a living out of it. We're trying to open that up so that families can learn more, whether they're newly diagnosed or if they have a child that's getting out of school and going through transition, what's available to them as far as employment and activities then.
Well, and I think it's really important for families to understand that we know that the walk can be loud, it can be crowded, it can be overwhelming for, you as an adult, let alone your children who may be on the spectrum, or if you're an adult on the spectrum, it can be overwhelming for you as well. We do make accommodations for that. And we also want you to know that we would welcome your suggestions even before the walk if you have ideas how we can make it more sensory sensitive for you. I know last year our sound system was a little bit overpowering, and so we're going to work on that this year to keep it a little tamer, especially because we have a lot of really, really good entertainment coming on. Let's talk about those service providers, because I do think that's important. I know the first walk that Alex and I attended in 2009. That was our first walk, and we really knew nothing about the walk other than we created a team, and we didn't even know there were service providers. So we just stood in line to walk. Tell me what these service providers really are there for. I mean, are they there to sell things or what?
What are they doing? What is that resource fair? And it is tough. There's a lot going on at the walk. So we do try really hard to email out kind of expectations, what to expect that day, so that there will be some noise, bring headphones, things like that. Try to set a little bit of an expectation and a social story so that our families and young adults and kids that are on the spectrum can know what to expect. It is hard to nail everything down, but and we also have quiet areas where if it becomes too overwhelming, they can go there. So the resource fair is an area where service providers that provide any sort of service to the autism community can come out and just share their information. So they have a table of information, but we also have them provide kid-friendly activities or any sort of activity, just so that while families are there, they can try to gather information. But we know that they're going to have their little ones or young adults who may not want to talk
right,
to
exactly.
that service provider. So being able to give them a chance to have a little fun while their parents gather more information. So it's anything from where to get a diagnosis. So it could be just for families that are attending and they may not have a personal connection to autism. Maybe they came with their company, or maybe they came to support someone else. And they think, maybe I know somebody who might benefit from this information that either needs a diagnosis or is newly diagnosed. So we have our hospitals and service providers there that can help guide as far as diagnosis. Then it goes on to, if you are diagnosed, trying to have a nice selection of all of the service providers that are out there, because it's very overwhelming after diagnosis as far as, okay, you need OT, PT, ABA, what are all these letters, what do they mean? So we have those service providers there with their information to try to help answer those questions and guide them through. So what is ABA therapy? Do we provide it? And then have several for people to choose from, just because different service providers have different approaches, and we know that if you've met one person with autism, you have met one person with autism, so it doesn't, one type of therapy may not work for everybody. So even if you're a family that's been diagnosed, maybe the services, they're either growing out of them or maybe they're not working anymore. So we have a lot of different service providers with different therapies. But also, our families get hit with therapy all the time. I mean, they know it, they're learning about it, so we try to interact some service providers that are fun. So whether it's therapeutic writing or summer camps that include those on the spectrum, or YMCA programs, whatever it might be, try to include service providers that are fun for recreation.
Exactly.
Because we know that's really important for our kids and young adults, and also being able to get outside and get moving. That's really important for health overall. So having those service providers there. So it's more informational than selling. We really try to not hit up our families that are already donating for the walk and putting together a team, and we know they're already paying a lot for services. So really they're there to provide a fun activity and then also to provide information. Though we do have a new area this year called Independence Corner that we're trying to build up. It's a new idea, but trying to focus a little bit more on transition, employment, adulthood, housing, all of those things, because as our families are aging and we're aging as an organization, we're seeing that there's not enough services out
Absolutely.
there. Housing, employment, job coaching, job skills, just personal living skills. So we're trying to have it within the resource area, but a little bit separate, because if they've already gone past diagnosis and services and recreation, they might be looking for something else. So we're asking providers to come out. But in addition to that, normally we don't have anybody selling anything, but if there are young adults or children on the spectrum that maybe have written a book or have designed a t-shirt, we really want to showcase that these are some success stories, or these are some things that are possible. So being able to showcase their skills as well.
Well, we love the fact that as our children are growing up, we are recognizing that they are young adults, and young adults are becoming adults. They're our future leaders. And for so long, we've thought of autism as I don't want to call it a disease, but a childhood syndrome. We haven't thought about what happens when they become adults, even though there have been many adults on the syndrome living all around us all this time. And I do like the fact that in Independence Corner, we are encouraging people to bring out their wares, to show their possibilities, their opportunities. So many of us have believed in the past that either they don't have talents or they don't know how to use them. And that is so wrong. We were both at that Milestones conference, and I met a number of young men, Alex's age. Sadly, there weren't any young women who spoke at that conference, but they all have very specific talents, and they're using those talents to build their future. So I'm going to encourage anybody who's listening to this that if you know anybody on the spectrum and they weren't planning on coming to the walk, it doesn't make any difference if they have a team. And if they can't afford to make a donation, that's okay. Please come out, learn what others are doing. That's just as important because somebody else will make the donation for you.
Right, and just to be able to see some possibilities. Like you said, there's a lot of families out there that just don't know what the future looks like for their child or young adult. So we want to showcase as many skills, or if they design T-shirts or they make jewelry, whatever it might be. And the Milestones Conference every year is so fantastic, and we make a lot of connections there. Listen to a lot of great speakers. So yes, anybody listening who may know someone on the spectrum that just wants to attend the walk to learn more, or if they want to be a part of Independence Corner, you can reach out to us here at the office, and we'll provide contact information later on. But you can call us or email us, and we can work to see if Independence Corner or the Resource Fair, if you're a service provider, if that's a good fit for you.
That's terrific. So you brought up something about volunteers. And one of my biggest issues has always been with any organization that people will come out and they'll say, well, yeah, I'd like to volunteer, but people don't know what they want to do. And typically we say, oh, that's great, come to a meeting, but nobody likes going to meetings. So can you give me some examples how people can come and volunteer for Autism Speaks with maybe not coming to a meeting, but contacting you and telling you what they might be able to do?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. There's always something that someone can do for us or for an organization. So, whether if they can't donate money, they can donate time. If they can't donate time, maybe they know somebody who can donate something for us. So there's always something. If you're willing to help in some way, we can find a good fit for you. So if you work at night or during the day, or don't work and have time during the day, we can always find a fit for someone if someone's willing to volunteer. So there are opportunities throughout the year. So we have our walk, which is the biggest event that we do every year. So if somebody's interested and they're like, you know what, I can't make a long-term commitment, but that day I would love to help out. We have all different areas. So we would just be able to talk with you, say, what do you like to do? Can you stand, lift things, things like that, and find the best fit. Maybe it's registering people that day, handing out T-shirts, helping with the food area. So we have our walk every year. We also have our kickoff that we have usually a month or so before the walk. So again, a short commitment, one evening for a few hours where they can come and help sign people in or help us get set up. And then throughout the year, if it's just helping us call or email teams. So say someone has been to our walk before and they want to help us, but they're like, I can't make it to a lot of meetings, I can't do anything. Well, they can always help us reach out to teams from past years, remind them that the walk is coming up, or emails. Not everybody likes to make phone calls, so we're flexible as far as reaching out to teams. And then also, we can always use more people papering the town with our posters and brochures. So at the very least, if you don't really know what you're good at, or you don't know how to help, or maybe you're a teenager and you're out of school right now for the summer, and you want something to do, we have tons of posters and brochures here at the office. You can go to your local store, Starbucks, Panera, YMCA's, and put them up on bulletin boards for us. So kind of be a local ambassador for us to help spread the word. So anything big or small we take, and we're always looking for people to help us plan with the walk. We have a small but mighty committee, but we have fun.
Yes, we do.
We have fun in our meetings, and the biggest thing to know is there's no experience required. Whether you're looking to be on the committee or just be a volunteer, we will give you everything you need to know, and we'll talk with you about what you like to do and what you don't like to do. So we're not going to have you making phone calls if you don't like to talk to people, that sort of thing. So really, we need a lot of hands throughout the year to help out, and on walk day to make it a great experience for our families.
And the other thing that we need people to do is to make connections for us so we can get speakers out in the city, whether it be at schools, corporations, organizations, to let other people know that Autism Speaks is here, what autism is all about, so that our families can be accepted. So that's a great thing that people can do to volunteer.
Yeah,
that's easy.
Just open doors for us.
Right.
That, if your child attends a school, or goes to a certain summer camp, or just coming into your company to talk. I mean, you can help us open doors. Also, you can help, even if you don't want to be on a committee, but you just want to be able to help out other families. We get calls all the time from people who live on the east side of town or the west side of town, and they're looking for a different school, or they're looking for a private school, or they're looking for a different therapist or service provider. So we're always looking for people to help us help our families find what works the best for them.
So lots of volunteering. You find your fit, and we'll be more than glad to help you out as well. So a couple other things have been going on around here. I know besides the Cleveland Walk, we have a Canton Walk coming up as well. And I know Leslie's in charge of that, and I'll talk to her probably next month, but just want to throw out the date so people are aware of it.
Yes, it is October 4th, and it's at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So it's a really great venue for kids and families and young adults to come out. You also, if you're signed up as a team, you get free entry into the Hall of Fame afterwards. So it's a fun little perk of having the walk there, and Leslie and the committee down there do a good job. It is a little bit smaller of a walk, so if you maybe live in that area, or your child or young adult may not want a bigger size walk, this is a smaller walk. They usually have 800 to 1,000 people attend there, and it's a little bit different of an environment and a little bit more of a hometown walk feel. So they've got their kickoff coming up July 25th, so if anybody is interested, they can reach out to the office and Leslie can get them hooked up.
So we've got a lot going on. Now, we just had the awareness game, and we had a pretty good turnout.
Yes.
And so, who threw out the first pitch for us?
Oh, our first pitch family. So yes, we had our awareness game with the Indians, and they are a great partner of ours. And we had Julie Burke and Brian Burke. So Brian Burke threw out the first pitch, and he's a young adult that lives over in Grafton. They've had a walk team now for a few years, and they go all out. They make T-shirts. They have a banner. They partner up with Triad Behavioral Solutions over there that has different employment and day activities for young adults. So Julie's whole mission is really awareness, and to make a big noise, and to really focus on our adults, because Brian is a young adult, and she knows that there's not a lot of services out there, so she really wants to create that awareness. So they are one of our top teams, and they did a bowling tournament this year and helped get media there, and raised a lot of awareness there in the Grafton, Wellington area community. So we were really, really lucky that we could ask Brian to come out, and Julie and their family to come out and throw the first pitch.
That is really, really nice. It's too bad we couldn't win the game that night.
Yes.
But, next year, because maybe we'll have the national anthem singer, we just won't go any further on that one right now.
We were 2-0.
Yeah.
So.
And so I understand we are going to have some sort of a raffle with some other tickets for. So you want to share that?
Yes. We just decided last night we've got some more tickets through the Indians that we can give out to some of our families. So we're going to do kind of like an incentive to get things rolling here in the last month or so before the walk. So any team that raises up to about $500 will get 2 tickets to a game, and then any team that raises up to $1,000 will get 4 tickets to the game. So the game that we selected is Thursday, July 23rd. It's against the White Sox, and it's a 7 o'clock game, so it's an evening game. So we really want to use it as a thank you to our sponsors and our top teams, but then also as a thank you, to any teams that have reached that level so far, and then to incentivize and reward teams that are still doing their fundraising to get to that next level, so that we can give them some tickets to enjoy the game.
That is fantastic. So this is also an opportunity to create a team and raise that kind of money too. So
we wanted to be both ways. We didn't
right.
want any teams that had already been fundraising to get hurt, because sometimes
Sure.
we'll do things like in the next week whoever raises the most money,
Right.
which is great, but we didn't want to penalize any teams that have already done their fundraising.
Absolutely. So we're really excited about that. I know the committee was like, yes, this is a great idea. So
yeah, it's a fun night, and it's something leading up to the walk, and we'll have more details through emails and on our Facebook page as well.
And for anybody who knows, Amy's been wearing a lot of hats around here for a while. She's been our director, but hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll have a new full-time director, and she can go back to her real job. So stay tuned for that. But Leslie is going to still be around, and she's going to be heading up the Canton Walk this year, and she did a phenomenal job last year. Anything else going on around here? Interns?
Oh, yes, and if there's any college folks out there, we're always looking for interns as well. But yes, hopefully we will be filling our director here for Northeast Ohio here in the next week or so before the walk, so we can introduce them on a future podcast. Leslie has been phenomenal heading up our Canton-Stark County walk, and she's also been filling in and helping with the Cleveland walk as well. So been a huge help to us. But we do have interns, so every semester we always post and put out to all the local universities that we do have internship opportunities. They're non-paid, but you get a lot of great experience, because literally we have them do everything we do as staff.
Right.
So everything from just general office mailings, because that's something they don't teach in school anymore, but it's great
Right.
for a job to know how to run a postage machine and a copier and answer the phones, so they help us with that. They help us put together flyers, get donations, reach out to teams. So really they do everything we do on a daily basis. So we have one here that just started, and some past ones that are hanging on to help us with the walk. So if you know of anybody who would like to help as an intern, we'd love to have them as well.
That is terrific. It's always great seeing them around and seeing their enthusiasm as well. Before we wrap this up, we have a sorority that is phenomenal, and I guess nationally they're phenomenal. So tell us what's going on.
Oh my goodness. Alpha Xi Delta. They are one of the oldest sororities, and they actually are considered a fraternity, but more of a sorority in our terms. But Alpha Xi Deltas, they have been a partner of ours for years now. They selected us as their philanthropy partner. So over the several years now, they've been a partner with us and raised over $3 million for us as an organization through their fundraising activities activities. They do everything from amazing races and flag football games, to what they call their Z-Man competition, which is a talent competition where they partner up with fraternities on campus. And so it's a really, really great organization, and they just announced that they're going to be our national presenting walk sponsors for the next 3 years, so at their national convention. And they really are the epitome of a partner. They really are out there on the ground on their campuses helping spread the word. They not only volunteer locally for us through our office, but a lot of times take the opportunity to volunteer with local service providers. Since we don't provide direct services, we don't always have a walk every day that they can go and,
sure.
and be with kids and young adults. So we connect them locally with service providers, and they just have so much fun doing it. They help from anything from getting people signed up for autism votes to face painting, and they really love working with our families. We have several chapters here in our area. We've got Mount Union, we've got Kent State, we've got Youngstown, and the Kent State ladies over there at the Beta Tau chapter raise over $50,000 for us through their Z-Man competition.
That is fantastic.
And it is as professional as anything you've ever seen. They fundraise throughout the year. They get sponsors. They sell tickets. They get raffle baskets. I mean, it is amazing that they do as much as they do, along with their sorority commitments and along with their school commitments.
Absolutely.
They're in school. So I definitely cannot thank them enough, and we were so excited when they announced they were going to be a national walk sponsor of ours.
Well, we look forward to seeing them at the walk, and maybe they'll join our Zumba person and Zumba and get everybody ready for the walk, because we have some great entertainment coming up. In fact, our main MC this year is from ESPN Cleveland, Sharihg. Gerard is a football superstar. He has, I think, 3 Super Bowl rings.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm wrong, Alex is going to let me know when he hears this.
He'll correct us.
He will correct us. So we really look forward to having ESPN Cleveland, one of our partners, on stage with us. And WEWS Channel 5 is going to be there again this year. Mm-hmm. So we look forward to having them on stage. Maybe some more surprises.
I know, you guys have been working really hard.
Really hard.
Here,
yes.
And it gets better every year, so I'm really excited to see how everything turns out. And I just can't say enough about ESPN Cleveland. They have been phenomenal. They've had Alex on their shows.
And he'll be back on there too. Yep.
Oh, and Emmett Golden came out and emceed our kickoff and was just phenomenal. And Gerard has come to our kickoff in the past and now is emceeing our walk, and just cannot say enough about how fantastic they are.
They are great partners, and a big shout out to Sam Pines as well, because without Sam, a lot of this just wouldn't be going as well as it is. So thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
One last thing we heard last night, one of our members, Kathy Masterson, made a big announcement, and NARI is going to be one of my favorite organizations here. So you want to share that with us as well?
Yes. For the first time, this particular chapter here is going to be doing a tour of remodeled homes. So I think she said it was 10 homes, if I'm not mistaken, that have been remodeled by people in their directory that are NARI members. So it's going to be $10 per ticket, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I was really surprised at that. But it's going to be September 26th and 27th. I don't remember the exact times offhand, but it'll be those 2 days, and they are giving back 50% of the ticket sales back to Autism Speaks. This is the first time they've done it. They selected us, and we couldn't be any happier to partner with them. Kathy has been a chair for many years. She's been a volunteer and just down in the trenches on walk day getting volunteers.
Absolutely.
And she has a nephew on the spectrum and has been a longtime supporter. And to have them select us, especially for the first year, is just huge, and we cannot thank them enough.
Well, and if you don't know who Kathy is, look for the person with the biggest smile on her face, because that is Kathy Masterson. I'm looking forward to doing a podcast with her and Nari in the next couple of weeks. But again, I am so excited. And this is what it means when you work with Autism Speaks. If it weren't for Alex, and Alex telling me one day that he needed to get involved, I wouldn't be sitting across the desk from Amy today. But Alex wanted to get involved. Autism Speaks gave Alex a voice. And his voice just continues. And my voice will continue along with his. And I've always used to say, Autism Speaks, Alex sings, and this mom nags. And I'm going to nag and say, you have to come out to the walk, if for nothing else, to learn, to see, and to hear the beautiful music, whether it be on the stage or all of us just milling around and talking.
It's such a great opportunity for families. It becomes a tradition. It really does.
Yes.
You see families, every year, and they've got their team T-shirts on, and it's really not only a celebration but a reunion. And people really feel like they're part of our family, and that's what we want it to feel like. We want it to feel like they're part of the Autism Speaks family, and to learn about what we do, and to hopefully be able to connect them with whatever they need or whatever benefits that we can provide for them.
So that's August 23rd. It's at Progressive Field, actually right outside Progressive Field, but you will get to walk around Progressive Field. So for those of you who want that opportunity, please come on out. And we will be back with Autism Speaks next month. And thanks, Amy. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Karen.